Hey, I'm Brian Van.
I'm Max Van.
And today we're going to recap MotoAmerica Supersport 2025 Round 2 at...
Road Atlanta.
Correct. Okay, we've survived the second round.
I didn't on the third day.
Well,
but
yeah, you had your first fall of the season.
Still standing.
Yeah, a little baby fall, not too bad. Not too bad. Still a very positive weekend, all in all.
Yeah.
The weekend started off with us at Road Atlanta. We had some bike hiccups in the first session, FP1. We lost probably a good 10 minutes.
I would say so, which isn't the end of the world, but...
No, but it doesn't put you in a positive position. You know, There's not a lot of track time available at these races for the riders. You know, you've got, typically about 20 minutes to a half an hour.
You have basically an hour of riding each day, so you have 3 hours of riding in total throughout the whole weekend or 3 days.
And it basically, each session builds upon itself. Our job as the team is to provide our riders with a package that is ready to go at FP1. You take data from FP1, you take your experience from FP1, you sit down, go over it with your crew chief, Jimmy and Chris, right?
Yep.
And we try to find ways to improve the motorcycle, right? So you can go a little quicker in Q1, from Q1 to Q2, and then obviously Q2 to race 1. When you lose 10 minutes in FP1, starting off your weekend there on Friday morning, that's not the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Right? We had an issue with the motorcycle that was self-inflicted completely. We got it sorted out in a semi-timely manner.
Yeah.
And got you back out there. You rode pretty good.
Yeah, I rode okay. To be honest, I struggled all weekend with dry pace. I don't know what it was. I was fast everywhere except going up the hills when the wheelie matters. I just couldn't find the way to control it, and I got to work on that. Luckily, that's the only wheelie track throughout the whole calendar.
Yeah.
But I do need to work on that because it was a little pathetic.
It wasn't great. It ended up taking you all weekend to finally go faster than you went last year.
Yeah.
Which to me was shocking.
That was shocking to me as well.
It was shocking. So we go from Q1 or FP1. Where'd you finish?
I finished 11th in FP1 with the bike problem, and then in Q1 I finished 11th as well. That was a dry, wet session. It was wet. It started raining, I think, right before we started to go out, from what I recall. Stopped, and then it started to dry up, and Road Atlanta dries out really well. It's crazy how fast that track dries up with all the elevation and wind that goes over the hills. Finished 11th there. Q2, another bike problem. That didn't really matter because the session got red flagged, and it just took me a long time to get to it, and I qualified 12th overall. And
not great.
Just waiting for the races to see.
Not great. And we had, when we got into the Q2, it was the same exact self-inflicted issue that we had in FP1. He goes out. You were in a good group when you went out of the gate, right? We're like, okay, this is going to be good. I see the group go by. No Max. I'm like, oh man, I hope he didn't eat shit on lap 1, which is very out of character for you. Lo and behold, I see him coming down the pits. Same exact self-inflicted issue. Jimmy was on top of it, about to get it sorted out. And then a little chaos ensued. You start getting other people. What I like to do when shit's going wrong, you won't find me moving very fast or reacting very quick to anything. I try to slow everything down and just solve the fucking problem, right? Try to remove all the panic. The faster you move, the more likely it is you fuck more shit up.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. And I actually laughed at it and made some fucking jokes.
Cost us a tire warmer.
Well, not us. Costed somebody a tire warmer, and they kind of did that to themselves. And so obviously, we had a couple laughs, and that's really all you can do. You can't get all busted up over it. And where I'm going to commend you is, we've done this for 5 years full time, and we've seen a lot of things with different riders, even with yourself. The spot that you're at and the way you behaved, you responded to the things that we fucked up, I thought was great. Never any complaining. Never any finger pointing. You were very patient. Just, hey, just trusting us to get the bike sorted out.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you went back out and you did the best you could on it. I still feel like we let you down a little bit, With that said, you could have performed a little better, and I think, one of the things that I still see in you a little bit is you fail to recognize how fast you are, and sometimes you wait to build to it rather than just going out and getting right to it.
Yeah,
I think you're getting a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you had you're going to get into the 29s, right? On the last lap in Q2.
Yep, I ran off track into the last corner.
And how did you end up running off track?
Because I was unfortunately a little frustrated, and I finally had got a good lap together, and I was like, excuse my French, but fuck this. I'm mad at myself. I didn't have one good lap this session. Let's try and put one good one together. And I just kind of overshot the last corner. I was either turn the bike and crash and see if I can make it, but I would have crashed, or run off, and I ran off, and wasn't the end of the world. Qualified in 12th, signed some posters, and got ready for the race. And fortunately, it rained. I really love the rain. I really enjoy it.
You know what? So we had a great weekend, right? And so don't take anything that we're saying right now, oh, this is a shit weekend, they left. But no, it was great. You did great.
Yeah.
That we got a wet acclimation session, and for a lot of it, you were P1.
Yeah. My only clear lap of the session was the first flying lap, and then the rest, every time I went through the S's, I was trying to get through traffic. So I think my first lap was the same pace as all my other laps, just because there's no way I could build up getting by lap traffic. Yeah. I'm not going to take them out or do anything.
You finished that session in like what?
6th, I think, and I was like
pretty good.
I think like 3 seconds off of PJ, and I'm pretty sure he was P1. But I know if I had some clear track going down the S section, I probably could have gotten probably close to the top 3 or the top spot. One of those things where the only lap that I have in the rain that's slow is my out lap, just to test the waters and put my foot down, and then from there I can probably go the same pace my first flying lap for the rest of them if I have clear laps. Just feel good.
It was cool because he came in and like he asked where he finished, told me led for a while, and he's like, I didn't get any clear laps. He goes, I feel like it's a great session. He goes, if you guys can give me a good bike, read between lines, don't fuck my bike up, I feel like I can compete for the win in the wet. He doesn't say stuff like that. Some people, they say really bold, overly confident things. You just don't do that.
No.
You think it through, and you really believed that you had an opportunity, and I like that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that confidence. So we worked hard to give you a good bike.
Yeah.
Which we did. Mm-hmm. And then what do? Well, they push our race.
From 210 till the end of the day.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. But I feel like as a premier class, I love MotoAmerica, and you guys do a wonderful job, but don't put us till the end of the day.
Yeah. There's probably reasons for it, dude. It's easy to second guess the shit they say, yeah.
But whatever. So the unfortunate side
is... It's raining. We're happy, and then what happened?
It started to dry up, and the wind came out, and unfortunately the wet acclimation session that we had before the race was nothing like the race that started 3 hours later. I remember I'm leaving the pits. I got a fresh set of rain tires on. I'm stoked because I can't see the rest of the track. I can just see the straightaway, and the straightaway is at the very bottom of the pit. It's one of the lowest point of the tracks, and it's dry. Or no, it's wet. It's wet. Starting to dry a little bit, but it's completely wet, and I'm stoked. I'm like, hell yeah, this is going to be a wet race. I leave the pits. I'm the first guy to climb up the hill going into the S section, and I'm like, fuck, it's a dry race.
Yeah.
I came around,
on rain tires.
On rain tires, and I came around, so it was a quick start procedure. So he was there. He's able to see me before I start up on the warm up lap, which is nice because it's nice to do. But I tell him, I'm like, it's a dry race. I'm like, you give it 5 laps, you could be on slicks if I'm being honest with you, and it'll probably be okay. Luckily I look behind. I'm checking.
Everyone had rains.
Everyone had rains, and he goes, everybody's got to deal with it. And I'm like, all right, it's not a big problem. So I got a pretty terrible launch, but my aggressiveness into turn 1 kind of made up for it. I just threw it in there to see what would happen. And in the rain, usually everybody's trying to be all timid going into turn 1 because God knows what's going to happen. And I just...
that's something you've improved upon, I think, a lot this year. You're better at trying to hold the spot or maybe even gain a spot.
My launches got worse, but I think we found that problem.
We're going to sort that out.
We found that problem.
MotoAmerica.
My turn 1 aggressiveness got better. Started the race, and man, I was putting my head down on the first lap. But the only problem is there weren't a lot of puddles on the racetrack to cool the rain tires down. So I went into I'm in Kayla Yakov's draft. We're on the back straightaway. I think we're battling. This might have been for seventh, maybe eighth. This is on the out lap or first flying lap. Not even first flying lap. First lap of the race, and I pull out of her draft and I break probably farther than where I would in the dry, and I completely forgot that I had a rain tire on the front, and it's like a sponge. It's flexing, it's all over the place. And Kayla, we talked after the race because we battled the whole time. It was cool to do that with her and Blake Davis, and she said, "I thought you were gonna be a bowling ball because I'm on the brakes." It's jumping all over the place, and luckily, right before I got to the apex, I just let go of the lever. I ran a little wide and turned 10A and made my way through there. And after that, I think I overheated my front tire. That's what I think happened, because I had no front grip for a few laps. I just struggled, and I started getting passed. I remember Cam Peterson passed me, but that's kind of expected because he's Cam Peterson. And yeah, I battled with Kayla and Blake for the whole race, and ended up finishing 7th, which I was stoked about, from qualifying 12th. And yeah, it wasn't
that
terrible.
P7 is a great finish. It's important to note that is your second best ever finish in Supersport.
Yep.
You know, with 5 that we got at Barber.
Yeah.
You know, being your best ever. You beat some really good people.
Yeah.
You went head to head with Blake.
Yeah.
You were able to get Blake. You know, you don't have Blake's dry pace yet. You're getting closer to him in the wet, and I think that's super encouraging, dude. I think you rode smart. You rode good. We got a great result.
Yeah, for sure.
On to Sunday.
Sunday, warm up. Just rode around, for being honest. It's kind of what I like to do. I was excited for the race because I knew I did good the day prior. I ended up getting even worse launch, and that set me up pretty terrible for turn 1 because I wasn't super close to anybody. Unfortunately, I started getting gapped by some people. Dave Anthony was in front of me. It took me a couple laps, and I think we were maybe 6 laps in, and I passed him. I think I led him around for 1 lap, started to slowly but surely gap him, and there was Kayla Yakov, Torrin Collins, Josh Hayes, and T. Hobbs up in front of me. And I'm like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to catch up to these people because I know I'm as good or better. And unfortunately, I had a little oopsie a few laps in to passing Dave Anthony trying to catch these people.
What were you, 5, 6? I mean, you were laps into it.
I think it was on lap 8 when I crashed, right around like midway through the race. And the corners that I kept trying to push harder in were the spots that I was already good in, because where I crashed was in the S section. You crest the hill, you can't really see what you're doing. You go over the hill and you're like, all right, I know where I'm at. There's a right, left, and as soon as I went right, left, right, I flicked it over to the right, and the front just tucked, and it was weird. There wasn't a chatter. There wasn't anything. There wasn't like a tank slapper. It just went, which is a little awkward. I think what we saw is I got on the gas like a 10th earlier, and maybe I got on the gas a little bit harder as well. Got on the gas a 10th earlier than I did the laps prior.
And maybe unloaded a little bit.
And maybe I unloaded the front, and the front came off like an inch or something, and I had so much pressure on the bars that it just fully locked and crashed. The bike wasn't too damaged. The reason why I couldn't rejoin the race was due to a broken clip-on the right side, throttle side.
Happens.
I wasn't super mad. I just came into the pits, so when I was done with the race, Tyler picked me up. My teammate, thanks for the ride, man. Cleaned
all your stuff up? Yeah,
cleaned all my gear, and that was it. But, yeah.
My takeaway there for you in race 2 is, thank Jesus you finally managed to go faster than you did in 2024.
Yeah, I don't know how it's
by
possible.
How many tenths?
I think it was by half a second, which was good.
All right, so that's good, but still, I feel like you underperformed, if I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
But David Anthony, David's an excellent racer. David has fucking decades of experience. He may not be your age, but he's fast, man.
Yeah, David.
And I remember last year, you didn't have anything for Dave.
No, I remember David in race 1. It was in the dry. He ran off the racetrack at Road Atlanta real early on in the race, and he passed me like laps later. Maybe 5 to 7 laps later. He blew by me, and I couldn't hang with him. So it's cool to know that I can hang with him now. Do I want to be doing that exact pace? No. But...
yeah, no offense to Dave.
Yeah.
But the goal is...
yeah.
And that's Dave's goal, too. I mean, Dave's not out here just doing laps.
No.
The goal is to move forward, and please, Jesus, let us get a trophy. That'd be sick.
My goal for MotoAmerica is to beat my coach and or ex-coach, which I love you, Josh Hayes.
Oh, wow.
But I want to beat you in a full dry condition. I don't think you watch these videos. Hopefully someone calls them out in the comments. But I really want to beat you. Straight up.
And I would I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see that.
No, it's awesome to even race with him. Even in race 1, I passed him because he ran off track. But it's cool to know, like even at Barbara, I was pretty close to him. Race 2 at Road Atlanta, I probably would have caught up to the group in front, which he was in. It's cool to know that I'm riding with the guy that taught me kind of everything.
Dude,
I
he's
know
the master.
at the professional level.
Yeah, 100%.
Now I just need to ride like him in the full wet conditions. That'll change the game around.
I think you've come, you know, I'm going to do another short video here right after this one. We're going to talk about something I saw on the internet. It's pretty funny. It's awesome that you're even talking like that and that the possibilities there. We're looking super forward to Road America. We appreciate everybody's support.
Yeah, I do appreciate it.
Thanks for watching.
It's awesome. Thank you for watching. I checked the weather for Road America. It looks like it's going to be dry, but I still hope it rains. Just thought I'd tell you. Have a great day, guys.